Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday afternoon, February 13th, Super Bowl Sunday. Happy Super Bowl Sunday and happy Valentine's Day tomorrow as we move into week 6 of Political Science 1013 for the spring term. Everybody, we have been running a discussion on some material related to Unit 3 on the mass media that closed at midnight last night. So I'll be trying to grade those discussion posts either tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Quiz 3 on some material related to Unit 3 on the media. 3 articles for you to look at, and then there will be a quiz over that material for 24 hours tomorrow, Monday. 10 true-false items. That will be the end of the material for Unit 3. Go to the modules area of the course website, and under Unit 3 you should see a link to Quiz 3, which will be going tomorrow, Monday, for 24 hours. At that point, we'll be through with the Unit 3 material, and we're moving on to Unit 4 on the Constitution, which is our last material before the midterm exam. Now, Unit 3 was a short unit. Unit 4 is a lengthier unit. You have a lengthy reading assignment from the textbook, the lengthiest you have for the term. You have 4 textbook chapters to look at, chapters 2 through 5, plus some material in the appendix of the textbook. Now, if you're pressed for time, I suggest you look most closely at chapter 2, which is about the Constitution in general. Toward the end of the Unit 4 class notes, we briefly discuss the issues that are raised at the end of the class in chapters 3, 4, and 5 of the textbook, discussed at the end of those class notes. Federalism, civil rights, and civil liberties. Federalism referring to the relation between the feds and the states in a federal system, which means a system with more than one level of government in the system. So that material is discussed at the end of the class notes for Unit 4, in Units 3, 4, and 5 of your textbook. Okay, so if you're pressed for time, look at Chapter 2 from the textbook most closely, because most of the Unit 4 class notes are pertinent to what's in Chapter 2. If you're pressed for time, look briefly at Chapters 3, 4, and 5. That material on federalism, civil rights, and civil liberties is discussed toward the end of the Unit 4 class notes. Now, you also have material in the appendix of your textbook to look at, about 35 or 40 pages of documents, including the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution itself, which is interesting to look at if you have never done so, and especially 2 of the Federalist Papers numbers 10 and 51, both written by James Madison, in which Madison attempts to explain the rationale for much of what's in the Constitution. Now, we discuss papers numbers 10 and 51 in the class notes. So if you find that reading difficult, set some time aside to look at it. It's 18th century language, but the material in the class notes should help you with that. Okay, do expect some items on the midterm exam dealing with Federalist Papers numbers 10 and 51. Okay. Now, what we try to do in Unit 4 is we begin with the history leading up to the Constitution, how we got to the point that the Constitution was adopted. We then try to look at the specifics of the Constitution, not every single provision, but the original 7 articles, the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10 amendments, then the 3 amendments that were adopted after the Civil War, the 13th, 14th, and 15th amendments, especially the 14th amendment. And then we also discuss Amendment 25, which was adopted a few decades ago after the assassination of President Kennedy, to provide for what we might have to do if a president became disabled and we wanted the vice president to become acting president. All right. Then after all that, you'll find discussion of the issues of federalism, civil rights, and civil liberties, which are taken up in chapters 3, 4, and 5 of your textbook. Okay, so that's the Unit 4 material. Before the end of the month, we will have a quiz and a discussion related to the Unit 4 material. I will get material pertinent to that out. I'll try to get it out Tuesday. We'll try to do all that before the end of the month, and then we'll be ready for the midterm exam shortly after the first of the month, which will cover Units 1, 2, 3, and 4. So please get started looking at that Unit 4 material after you take your quiz tomorrow. And look for some emails from me about Quiz 4 and Discussion 4. And we'll have more to say about all this when we talk to you again next week. Take it easy.